Petito was last seen alive in August during a trip with her fiancé. Investigators have ruled her death a homicide. That fiancé, Brian Laundrie, disappeared after he returned alone to the Florida home that they shared with his parents. He's considered a person of interest, and police are still trying to find him.
Right outside Capitol Reef right now in a free dispersed camp spot. And we've been lucky so far at all the places we've stayed, but I'd say this is one of the best so far. Since we left New York.
She was beautiful. She was creative, artistic, talented, a genuine person, and we all loved her so much.
Gabby Petito never goes outside.
Bubbly, energetic, adventurous. Gabby Petito wanted to share her life with the world. She succeeded, though tragically, not in the way she planned. These are the pictures Gabby wanted us to see.
Brian's stretching, doing some morning yoga.
Outside looking in, she did look happy. It might not have been as great as people online perceived.
But this is the vision that's now impossible to unsee.
I want to be separated.
You gonna have anxiety?
Yeah, no, we're a team, please.
There's no, what is it?
No, wait, we're a team, please. It's gonna give me so much anxiety. Can we just have like a driving ticket?
Okay, the very best thing I can do is call my supervisor and see if I'm missing something here.
Because if I'll pay any driving ticket, a parking ticket, anything.
Okay, Gabby,
Gabby,
try to calm down, and I'm gonna go call a supervisor. But I don't think that there's.
Gabby Petito, a 22-year-old travel influencer, bright, free-spirited, adventurous. In the summer of 2021, she set out on a cross-country road trip with her fiancé, Brian Laundrie. Their journey, shared online, appeared picture-perfect. But behind the Instagram filters, a tragedy was unfolding. Her disappearance captured the attention of millions. Her death sparked outrage, heartbreak, and urgent conversations about domestic violence, media bias, and justice. This is the story of Gabby Petito. Petito was born on March 19, 1999. In Blue Point, New York, she had a passion for travel and storytelling, which led her to launch a YouTube channel called Nomadic Static with her fiancé, Brian Laundrie. In July 2021, the couple began a cross-country road trip in a white Ford Transit van, planning to visit America's travels on social media. But behind the smiles, signs of a toxic relationship began to emerge. August 12, 2021. Moa police stopped the couple after a 911 caller reported seeing.
We're driving by and I'd like to report a domestic dispute in Florida with a white van, Florida license plate, white land. We drove by and the gentleman was slapping the girl.
Police body cam footage shows Gabby crying, visibly distressed. While Brian remains calm and cooperative.
How are you doing? Good. Hey, we got a call about a male hitting a female and the two of them getting in this vehicle and taking off.
Despite the report of physical violence, no charges were filed. Police separated them for the night. This moment has since become one of the most heavily scrutinized missed opportunities in domestic violence response.
So I was just trying to get straight away. But a little slap fight between fiancés who love each other, want to be together. Can I perceive that this is going to digress into a situation where he's going to be a battered man? Right.
Part 3: Disappearance and national attention. By early September, Gabby's family had not heard from her in over a week. On September 11th, they reported her missing.
We thank you for joining us at 7 o'clock. I'm David Ushery. Tonight, there are some new twists and turns in the case of a woman from Long Island who disappeared while on a road trip. Gabby Petito from Blue Point hasn't been heard from since the last week of August. Her family believes she might be over 2,100 miles away in Wyoming. Today, neighbors of her fiancé, Brian Laundrie, revealed police found the van she was traveling in at his home in Northport, Florida. No sign of Gabby, though, and tonight, the fiancé is refusing to cooperate with police.
So Me and Brian just got up and got ready, made the bed in the tent.
And now we're all the way in Utah, and luckily enough, I was able to set up my hammock in one of these trees.
And we're kind of like in the desert.
Very few trees.
Sorry, we've just been fighting this morning. Some personal issues.
It was a long day. We were camping yesterday, and camping got stuff, flies and stuff. I'm sorry I hit the bump there.
I just quit my job to travel across the country, and I'm trying to start a blog. I just have a blog and stuff, so I've been building my website, so I've just been really stressed, and he doesn't really believe that I could do any of it, so that's kind of been like a, I don't know, he's like down there, I don't know, we've just been fighting all morning, and he wouldn't let me in the car before. And then
Why wouldn't he let you in the car? Because of your OCD?
He told me I needed to calm down, yeah.
I believe she's in danger because she's not in touch with us, and she could be alone somewhere, she could be stranded somewhere in the wilderness. And she needs help.
Computers, hardware, software, any text message, any external hard drives that might be there. And this all sparked by a text, the last text that Gabby Petito's mom said she received from her, saying that, asking her mom if she could get in touch with Stan, who is Gabby's grandfather, that she had been getting some text and couldn't get in touch with him. She said it really struck her as odd because Gabby never called him Stan, and that's when she thought there could be some issues there.
On Sunday, helicopter video captured investigators setting up a canopy tent in that area during their search. Teams on horseback were also brought in to cover more ground. By the afternoon, the Teton County coroner arrived in a white truck, and a short time later, they confirmed that those human remains had been discovered.
The body found in Grand Teton National Park is Gabby Petito, and she was killed. Her death now ruled a homicide.
The whole thing has been strange from day one.
Yeah.
It's all around those parents. It's all around his parents. That, you know, and I will say straightforward, I don't think he killed himself. I think either his father did or she did. I have no problem saying that. That's just my opinion.
Okay.
Yeah, it's not a fact, it's an opinion, but.
Were they able to identify a cause of death for him or no, since
they said suicide.
Okay.
Yeah.
Why do you think one of the parents would want to have killed him?
Better than going to jail or facing what you did.
Got it.
That's the only thing I could come up with in my mind. The way, if you read her burn after reading letter and just the weirdness that they are, I don't find it implausible. I think that it's very possible that they did something.
Is there anything about him why you don't believe that he would have taken his own life?
Well, if you read the stuff he wrote in his notebook, kind of made up excuses.
Yep.
So he didn't want to take responsibility for it. So why would he take his own life? It was almost like he was a coward.
Yeah.
So it's just a gut feeling that I have, and I mean, I can't even believe that they're just walking around like nothing happened. She didn't even cry during the depositions, talking about her son. Calling my daughter Gabrielle, saying that they did love her and stuff. I'm like, no, that's not love.
Yeah.
So yeah, a lot of anger still towards them, but I try not to think about them because I have so much good work to do.
The FBI collected this evidence over the course of their investigation, a letter that Roberta is said to have wrote to Brian, and we hope to get this letter at some point, just like we got the confession from Brian Laundrie, the 8 pages in the notebook. But this letter that Roberta wrote to Brian that says something about a shovel and helping bury a body. Stephen Bertolino, the attorney for the Laundrie family, has indicated to us that the letter does exist. They do have it. It's still in their possession. It hasn't been destroyed. It's of course, it's been mentioned in this lawsuit that exists between the two families, but that the letter itself doesn't have anything to do with the Gabby Petito case, and that it predates everything. And I asked very specifically to Pat Riley, the attorney for the Tito and Schmidt families, is there any date or any mention specifically of Gabby Petito or anything that tells us what time frame this was written in? And the answer is no.
Mm-hmm.
So the FBI had this evidence.
Mm-hmm.
And the question is, people have been asking me repeatedly on social media when I post about this story, is that why the FBI didn't pursue charges against Chris and Roberta Laundrie, the mother and father of Brian Laundrie.
Well, this was the problem, I believe. Currently, they need to show a preponderance of the evidence. And this letter in and of itself should push them over. It was very convenient that there was no date on that letter, so Mr. Bertolino can again shuck and jive and try to say that that letter related to something that had nothing to do with Gabby Petito, even though it says burn after reading, and even though she was murdered viciously, and it involved a shovel, and I mean, it's just ridiculous, honestly. But the Bureau and the prosecution team, the United States Attorney, would have had to prove beyond any doubt. And my question would be, was this letter even ever given to Brian Laundrie? Did it end up in his hands?
Let's say it didn't. Let's say it didn't. Let's say the FBI uncovers this evidence and it's a letter that Roberta meant to give to her son, Brian, and it contains details about a shovel and the burying of a body. Even if it's not delivered to Brian, is that people would ask, well, isn't that proof that they were aware of Gabby's murder all along?
Well, certainly that they were withholding information, certainly that they had knowledge, but they are entitled to their Fifth Amendment right, and they never made false statements to law enforcement. If they would have, but they never said anything. And so therefore, the charge just didn't exist to charge.
It's 2.5 months since Gabby was murdered. As her family struggles with deep grief, they're overwhelmed by a need to let everyone know who their daughter really was.
Everybody sees the pictures of her out there as an adult, but when I close my eyes and I think of her, I still remember that little blonde hair, bright blue-eyed little girl with her hair up in, ponytails, and always smiling no matter what.
And what was Gabby like growing up?
A spitfire. She did a lot. She was very busy. She loved her friends. She always had a bunch of friend groups. She enjoyed school, and she was a beautiful artist, brilliant artist, just so talented.
Growing up, Gabby was the centre of a happily blended family. Mum Nicole and stepdad Jim in one home, stepmum Tara and father Joe in another.
Her laughter, those damn eyes too. Couldn't keep her in trouble with those eyes. It was the worst. Trying to keep her grounded was the worst. It was so unfair. But her laughter was so infectious. Her smile was so infectious. She was happy, genuinely happy. She's like, "Yo, come on, let me show you this." She'd want to take you. Let's go, jump in the car. Let's just go for a ride. We'll check it out. We'll go to the beach. Just listen to the ocean. Look at the waves. Look at the sand. Watch the sunrise. Watch the sunset. That's what.
In this handwritten letter to Laundrie, Petito writes, quote, "I just love you too much, like so much it hurts," while apologizing to her fiance for getting upset over what she called a dumb piece of paper. In the letter, Petito writes that she's frustrated, that there's not much more she can do, and urges Brian to stop crying and stop calling her names. In these new FBI documents lies the case's evidence, like this bill of sale for Laundrie's 9mm Glock, and this piece of paper saying, quote, "Trust no one," with a drawing of what appears to be a skull surrounded by the word kill. Investigators also found a journal with an alarming entry from October 26th of 2018, years before that ill-fated road trip. An unidentified FBI agent believes it was written by Laundrie, saying he wrote, quote, "My real options are to run off entirely on my own, buy a piece of land, or kill myself. Under the mattress I'm on, there's a loaded .357 Magnum revolver. A pull of the trigger, and all my problems will be over."
By now, a warrant had been issued for Brian's arrest. Not for Gabby's disappearance or death, but for bank fraud, with police alleging he'd spent more than $1,000 on Gabby's debit card as he made his way home after she'd been killed. But Chris and Roberta Laundrie still refused to talk.
How do you feel to know that Gabby died of strangulation in the wilderness of Wyoming? She used to live with you. How does that make you feel?
The deafening silence angered Gabby's supporters.
Was your son involved in strangling Gabby?
We're seeking justice for Gabby and the Petito family.
While his parents weren't prepared to say what they knew about Gabby's murder, Brian's sister Cassie did speak out.
We want to know what the hell.
Oh, hey.
We have fully cooperated with the police since September 11th when they called. We are just as upset, frustrated, and heartbroken as everybody else.
And like everyone else, Cassie was questioning her mum and dad.
I am losing my parents and my brother and my children's aunt and my future sister-in-law on top of this, and you're not helping.
Why your parents? Why your parents? You're talking about Christmas.
They're not talking to us either.
Why aren't they talking to you guys?
If I knew, I would say. I don't know.
Do you think they're involved, your parents?
I don't know.
You don't know?
We know.
You're not involved?
We have literally been finding everything out with the news with like everybody else.
Wow. Brian Laundrie had gone missing. His parents reported that he went hiking in the Carlton Reserve in Florida on September 13th. Weeks of searching turned up nothing. Then, on October 20th, 2021, partial human remains were found in the swampy reserve, confirmed to be Brian's through dental records nearby. Investigators found a dry backpack, and a notebook. Inside the notebook was a confession. Brian admitted responsibility for Gabby's death. The FBI closed the case in January 2022, stating Brian acted alone. Part 6. Brian Laundrie was born in 1997 and raised in Florida. Friends described him as quiet and reserved. He loved nature and art but also exhibited controlling behavior in his relationship with Gabby. He dropped out of college and worked seasonal jobs with Gabby. They had been engaged, but reports suggest the engagement was called off before the trip, though they remained together. He had no known criminal history or diagnosed mental illnesses, but his behavior during the trip raised red flags for many viewers of the police footage. Part 7. Brian Laundrie was never criminally charged with murder. However, the FBI issued a federal warrant for unauthorized use of Gabby's debit card, used after her death to withdraw over $1,000. Since both Gabby and Brian are deceased, no criminal trial occurred. Gabby's parents
I love the band.
later filed a civil lawsuit against Brian's parents, alleging they knew their son had killed Gabby and intentionally withheld that information, causing emotional distress. That civil case remains ongoing. As of 2025. Part 8. Social impact and media response. The Gabby Petito case sparked major national discussions about how missing person cases are covered in the media. It brought attention to the disparity in coverage between missing white women and women of color, often referred to as missing white woman syndrome. It also reignited conversations about how police respond to domestic violence and whether Gabby's life could have been saved if action had been taken during the Utah traffic stop. In Gabby's memory, her family established the Gabby Petito Foundation, which raises awareness and supports organizations that assist victims of domestic violence and missing persons. Conclusion. Reflection. Gabby Petito's story is one of heartbreak, injustice, and missed chances, but it is also one of awareness, advocacy, and change. Though she never returned from her journey, her voice continues to echo through the people fighting for justice and the conversations her story started. May her legacy inspire us to listen closer, act sooner, and protect those whose cries for help are too often silenced. Rest in peace, Gabby.